So in a grand total of, I believe, 2 weeks, I've played 2 demos that were both, I would say, downright terrible, but for kind of different reasons. So in this video, I want to go over the Outriders demo. I had quite a few people, more people than I thought, reach out to me, whether it was this channel, whether it was the main channel, and they said, Alex, what's your opinion on Outriders? Now, before I get into the demo, I do want to say my general opinion on this game is that I have heard about it before. I feel like I probably watched a trailer or two, but I truly, like, seeing the name, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that this game exists, but I didn't really know anything about it. Now, I did, before I jumped into the demo, I did know what kind of game I was playing, okay? So it's not like I was going into this game expecting a fighting game. I wasn't expecting Mortal Kombat, okay? I knew what I was getting myself into, and some people had nicer things to say. Some people were pretty mean to this demo from what I've seen as well. So I am going to be pretty negative to this demo. Again, like, I compared it to Balan Wonderworld, which was the last demo I played. And again, like, those are just 2 demos that they're both terrible, both in different ways. Balan Wonderworld, I think, is just, like, god-awful from beginning to end. The thing with Outriders is that it's horribly generic. And I was considering, like, that kind of being the title. I felt like that was maybe not the greatest, like, clickable thing in the world. But that's what this game is. It actually makes me sad because this is People Can Fly. Okay, now this is the makers of Bulletstorm. Now, I loved Bulletstorm. That was a very, in my opinion, and that's all this is, right? My opinion. That was a very underrated game back in 2011. I remember playing it. I didn't buy it. That was back in the day of, like, you could rent games from, like, actual stores. I do remember renting this game multiple times, and I played it with my friend, and we both really enjoyed it. It was different. It wasn't the greatest game of all time, but it was unique, right? And for those that don't know, obviously that's the game where very, I would say, fast-paced shooting mechanics, and you get points for creativity, and that's kind of the most disturbing part is, like, that game. That's the best word to describe Bulletstorm, is creative. It was, and I guess unique, but it was definitely creative. The thing with Outriders is it's not creative whatsoever. So what I'll say is, I didn't downright despise Outriders demo. I'm certainly not getting the game. Okay, there's no chance on this planet I'm getting the game. It was insanely boring, and that is what's the most contrasting, if that's even a word, from Bulletstorm to me. Is like, I can't believe these guys, I don't know who's still there that made Bulletstorm 10 years ago, but those guys that made Bulletstorm, and then they make this. I mean, they went from something creative, unique, different, like very fast-paced and action-oriented and fun, right? You constantly are going to this game, which is just constantly stopping and starting. Now, one of the funniest kind of things that I don't think people are, like, memeing on, but one of the things that people are really drawing attention to with this this demo, I was about to say beta because I've played a lot of those too, is the cutscenes. The cutscenes are very, very weird. Of course, there's those moments. There's the moments of jumping, and for whatever reason, they have to do a cutscene to kind of bridge the gap. Now, I'm sure there is a technical problem with that, like that they can't just solve it. They can't solve it with, like, a snap of the fingers, right? It's not like, oh, can you change this, please? And they're like, sure. I think there's a little bit more to it. But another thing that I find deeply disturbing is not even just that, is really the rest of it. They'll be, I mean, the intro. Now, yes, like intros, prologues, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they generally are maybe more cutscene oriented. They're kind of setting things up. But I mean, there'll be cutscenes that go on literally forever. They're insanely boring, and then they'll cut to black to go into another cutscene at a different area. And it's like, I just don't think the way the story is presented and the way the cutscenes are presented, that's just kind of like I don't even know. That's a writing problem. That's a presentation problem. You know what I mean? That's just not how you do it. They kind of draw focus away from certain things, and there's times where you would expect maybe you can actually play the game, which to try to maybe break up some of the cutscenes, right? It's just not put together well at all. Now, the thing with Bulletstorm is that it didn't really have a story, or if it did, which it did, obviously, but it wasn't very good, but it wasn't the focus. But the focus with Outriders is kind of on the story, the lore, setting things up like that. When you actually get into the game, that's another story too, right? I think it, again, is kind of incredibly generic. Now, I do like the powers. Now, I played as, I don't remember, like the fire, where you could use fire powers. That is pretty cool, okay? So there is a hint of creativity there. But let me tell you something, though. Besides being able to use powers that, of course, you can level up and you have skill points and all that stuff, the rest of the game, again, is very, like, the gameplay is just a copy of all of the games that are like, I mean, the first game I went to is just because my wife literally was playing it like a week or two ago, is The Division. I think The Division is a much better game than Outriders. And the funny thing is, I was telling her this, I was like, imagine this game is The Division, but without any fun. And she told me, she said, well, there's a lot of people that think The Division isn't even fun. Like, I'm one of the people that think it is fun. I was like, yeah, you're right. Actually, there are quite a few people that have a lot of I've never really had a problem with Division, but I wasn't like a diehard fan of it, but I've never had a problem with it. But I do know, especially the second game, a lot of people had problems with just the game itself. That's not really all that much fun. Well, imagine that, but if you sucked any other fun out of it, and that's kind of what you have with Outriders, and that sucks. It's just a horribly, like, the enemies are generic, the fighting is generic. It's kind of like Gears mixed with The Division. It's odd. It's very, very odd. I don't like it. And there's not much more you can really go into it like that. So, I wanted to give you guys my brutally honest thoughts. I didn't go into it wanting to hate it. Again, I knew about the loading stuff, or the cuts. I keep saying loading. I don't know why. I knew about the cutscene stuff going into the demo, but that's pretty much all I knew. I mean, I knew what kind of game it was, but I didn't know where we'd be, the enemies we'd be facing, the cutscene. And that's just another thing, is like, especially the beginning, there's all of these cutscenes, there's all of these opportunities to talk to people and kind of explain the lore, and it's not done quote-unquote wrong, because, like, that's how you do it. You talk to people, and you can go directly to the point and kind of get out of the conversation, or you could, like, ask them questions which would pad the story and pad the lore of the game. Well, a game like Mass Effect or Dragon Age or something like that, or Witcher, on and on and on, those things work. And maybe it's unfair because it's a demo, it's just a snippet, but this is supposed to be the beginning of the game. From what the game tells you when you boot it up, is that this is the prologue to the game. So, like, that's how they want to start it. It's just boring. Like, the first person I talked to, I asked all the questions to, and then I stopped because the answers to those questions were so dull and boring that I didn't care. I don't really care about what's going on, and that's beside also the graphics are not good whatsoever. Now, again, there'll be people maybe that say, well, it's just a demo, and that's why I didn't really want to focus too much on it. There's also things where, like, their mouth will move, but then the sound will come afterwards. Again, it's a demo, so I didn't want to focus too hard on that. With that being said, if that's in the base game, that is obviously a problem, but I just don't, especially like with graphics, how, like, they just really don't have any expression whatsoever to their face. They're very much like not even like a clay face. They're just like actually, I don't even know. They're expressionless, okay? And there's actually zero details, like textures or like wrinkles or anything on their face. And that's a kind of a big deal to me, because when you're talking and you're explaining things, I mean, that's something that's kind of important to me. So that was obviously lacking as well. So this is just, to me, it was a waste of my time. I didn't play the full thing. I think you can go to like World Tier 4. I was at World Tier 3. I played it for like 2.5 hours, which I played a decent amount of it. So, that's my opinion on it. I was about to say I'm not hating on it. I am. I don't like this demo. With that being said, if you're going to buy the game, that's totally cool. I'm not, like, attacking you. I'm not saying that, just because I say that I didn't like it, you guys shouldn't like it. No, you can have whatever opinion you want on this demo. I have absolutely nothing against it. And honestly, I hope that I'm wrong. And I said that with Balan Wonderworld too. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the game comes out and it was like, okay, I don't know what happened with the demo, but the game's amazing. You know what I mean? That's what I want from Balan Wonderworld. That's what I want with Outriders. Now, I'm not going to get either of the games. Other people will have to tell me this, or I'll have to watch other people play it. But hopefully, that's what I'm hoping for, that's what happens, okay? So let me know in the comments below, guys, what'd you think? Have you played the Outriders demo? What are your pros, cons, all that good stuff? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And I do a brand new video every single day. And so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.